What happened here Saturday night was a criminal attack, and federal, state, and local law enforcement are actively working to bring those responsible to justice. Protecting critical infrastructure like our power system must be a top priority. This kind of attack raises a new level of threat.
Duke Energy continues to keep this community in our hearts, certainly as we work diligently to restore power for the homes and businesses here in this area. We recognize how challenging these conditions are, and we recognize that as the days progress, those challenges become more acute. So we take our jobs very seriously and are very committed to serving you in this time. As a reminder, we had about 45,000 customers that were impacted by this incident here in Moore County on Saturday evening. We have worked to make some progress as our repairs continue. We were able to restore about 7,000 customers last night as we completed some repairs on some of the equipment that was damaged. That work continues, and we have some repair paths that we hope can potentially restore a few thousand more. But as we said yesterday, we continue to maintain that for the majority, this outage will continue until we get those repairs completed. And so we will gradually see more recovery, but we could still see this extend Wednesday into Thursday, somewhere in that time frame.
I will say this, the individual that done the damage knew exactly what they were doing to cause the damage and cause the outage that they did.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? Okay, this substation attack in North Carolina. Well, guess what? There was two more. Washington and Oregon, okay? And the feds are saying that the substation vandalism in Oregon and Washington are similar to gun attack in North Carolina that left tens of thousands without power, okay? And the substation in Washington and Oregon have reported attacks similar to the one that just happened last weekend, okay, in North Carolina, which involved armed individuals and left tens of thousands without power amid freezing temperatures. And one person actually perished, okay? Now, there was a federal memo that was obtained, okay, and it warned. Power stations in Oregon and Washington have reported physical attacks on substations using hand tools, arson, firearms, metal chains, possibly in response to an online call for attacks on critical infrastructure. So the aim of attackers, it said, was to cause widespread power failures with the potential impact of social disruption and violent anti-government criminal activity. The memo also added, in recent attacks, criminal actors bypass security fences by cutting the fence links, lighting nearby fires, shooting equipment from a distance, or throwing objects over the fence and onto the equipment. It is unclear how many facilities in both states were attacked, if locals were left without power, if there was a political motive, or if anyone has been arrested for these attacks. Law enforcement has yet to identify a motive for the weekend's attack in Moore County, North Carolina, though investigators were exploring the possibility that the gunfire was an attempt to disrupt the drag show that was scheduled to take place that Sunday. Now, Senator Tom McGinnis said it appears to be intentional, willful, and malicious act, and that the perpetrator will be brought to justice and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. At their peak, the outages affected around 45,000 homes, causing residents to lose heat, schools to close, and Duke Energy has now completed the repairs and restored power to all but a fraction of those who lost the electricity. One person is known to have perished in their home, which was without power at that time, but the cause of their death is still to be confirmed. There have been similar cases of vandalism of substations across the country recently. On November 11th, 12,000 people in Jones County, North Carolina lost their power for days following a criminal attack, and that investigation is ongoing and no arrests have been made. Homeland Security then issued an alert on November 30th, warning of an increased threat of domestic terrorism. It is said that targets of potential violence, including public gatherings, faith-based institutions, LGBTQ plus community, schools, racial and religious minorities, government facilities and personnel, U.S. critical infrastructure, the media, and perceived ideological opponents. These three defendants, because in February, okay, there were 3 people that pled guilty in planning rifle attacks on substations across the country, and those 3 defendants, okay, they admitted to engaging in a disturbing plot in furtherance of an ideology to attack energy facilities in order to damage the economy and stoke division in the country. So it's unclear whether they have been sentenced or not. So my advice, this is obviously going to continue. And nobody knows who's next. No state knows. None of us know. My advice, especially if you live up north or, where it gets cold, obviously. Prepare now. If you have a fireplace, stock up on your firewood, Small space heaters that you can plug into a solar power station like the Opus. The link is in the description box below, okay? If you can pressure can, get all of the meats out of the freezer, pressure can them to be able to save your meats, okay? Just like we don't keep our freezers full in the summertime because of hurricane season. Try and get your meats out of the freezers. Heck, I'm going to start doing that myself, because Lord only knows if Florida is next. Because it just doesn't seem to matter, does it? If it's a red state, if it's a blue state, doesn't matter if you're left, right, red, blue, Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. We're Americans first, right? They're attacking us every which way they can. It's ridiculous. So prepare now. In every which way that you have learned, have been taught, preserve your food. Prepare your home. That's all I've got. I appreciate you. You stay safe. You stay positive. You keep prepping. And as always, fear less.